So for the past few years now, I've really enjoyed using external batteries, not only just being in the field with them, but also here at home as more of like an emergency backup. And for those that are familiar with my channel, you guys know I've reviewed and tested a bunch of different types of portable batteries. And for the past year now, I've been leaning and using this one right here the most. This is the EcoFlow Delta. And the main reason why I've been using this one so much is because of the fact that it's easy to transport, easy to carry around. And I know it might not seem that big of a deal, but you'd be surprised on some of the other battery packs out there. This one actually does give you a straight number of how much is remaining. Some of the other chargers out there give you like a bar, like how many bars are left. And at that point, you don't really know exactly where you are. And it's not even just the UI, of course. These are one of the fastest charging portable power solutions on the market. So I was super excited when EcoFlow reached out to me to test out the new EcoFlow Max. And they actually have two. There's two new ones on Kickstarter, where this one actually started on Kickstarter a few years ago. But they do have two new ones, which is this right here, the Max, as well as an even bigger solution called the EcoFlow Pro. And the main difference between the Pro and the Max, this Max is really a bumped up version of the original Delta, does have a lot higher specs, and the new Pro is more geared towards a full home solution that you would actually plug in to your home network, your home power. So if you did have a full blackout, look at it as more of a home solution backup that is also still portable. Now, the main reason why I got into just looking at battery backup solutions, if you guys haven't seen my previous videos, I'm here in San Diego in California, and we have a lot of blackouts, a lot of rolling brownouts in California during especially the hot summer days. And there was definitely a few times last year when that did happen, and sometimes it'd be only for 30 minutes, sometimes it would be for up to 2 to 4 hours. So that was the main reason why a few years ago, or a couple years ago, I started looking into having backup solutions, mainly for those reasons. What's gonna happen if we do have to do some of those rolling blackouts? And every time we would hit the road, I would normally always carry around a battery backup with me, a battery solution, just for emergency purposes. And also when I'm out in the field flying drones, using my camera, I'd always want to have some sort of battery backup so I'm able to power everything on the go. Now, before I jump into my experience using the EcoFlow Max for the past few weeks, let's first talk about the specs of this new battery. Now, as far as capacity on the EcoFlow Max, we're talking 2016 watt hours. Now, in comparison to the Delta is actually 1260 watt hours. So just give you some idea, if you're comparing my previous video that I did on the Delta to this one, definitely a big upgrade with the Max. Now, one of the biggest differences with the EcoFlow Max as well as the new Pro is that you are now able to expand these battery solutions out. If you wanted to get 1 or 2 more extra battery banks, you're able to do that here and plug them directly onto the side. And these are something you weren't able to do with the original Delta. Now, the one thing I do like is their interface on their battery solutions, and they actually are all the same, so you don't have inconsistency throughout their batteries. They're all the same. They show you how much percentage you have left, which I really like. Like I said, some of the other companies just use the bars to tell you how much, and they don't even give you like a regular number. You're also able to see how much watts input as well as outputs here on the right hand side. And of course, depending on what's plugged in, you have the amount of hours remaining for whatever's plugged into it. So it gives you a little countdown of how much longer you have based on how much power is going out. The one thing I do like about the new Max and the Pro is that they do have a Wi-Fi feature. EcoFlow actually has their own app, which the interface is actually really nice. I mean, as a designer, I'm really impressed on just the look and feel of this actual device itself, and also the interface on their app. So you're able to monitor the health, you're able to change a lot of the settings on there, depending on how much you want charging. All that stuff can be monitored on the actual mobile app. As far as USB goes, we do have the standard USB-A's. We have 2 ports there. We also have 2 more USB-A fast charge ports. We have 2 USB-C's down here, 100 watt, right here, as well as on the side right there. So 2 USB-C ports. I'm gonna flip it around to the back side. We do have 6 outlets on the very back, which can total up to 2400 watts. At the very bottom, we do have a car charger port here. And at the very top, this is where you're gonna be powering up your EcoFlow Max. Now, to charge it up, you can actually plug it in, of course, right here to your wall outlet. And there's actually a switch on the side, and it says fast, and then it also says adjust. Now, at first I was like, okay, well, yeah, I always want to charge it up as fast as possible. I first kept it at fast, and didn't realize it was charging so fast that it actually tripped my power outlets because it was powering it so much. Like, it actually hit the breaker. So you can actually dial that down by going to adjust, opening up the app, and then you can now tell it how much you want as far as an input goes when you're charging this up. Crazy to think this huge battery, you're gonna charge it from 0 to 80% in a little over an hour and a full charge in about 2 hours. Some of the other battery solutions I have that are about the same size take about 8 to 10 to 12 hours to charge. So that fast charge on here is something that you don't really see on too many other battery solutions. Now, when everyone gets these battery packs, they always want to know how much can it power, what can it power. To be honest with you, this will pretty much power almost everything in your house. Now, depending on what appliances I was using, when I was testing out the Delta, I would trip it up. I would go over its threshold when I would try to max it out using all the things that normally produce heat. So if you're trying to use a toaster oven, hair dryer, space heater, those are the things that use up the most energy. So those are the ones I would always want to test first just to see, is it able to power those devices up? Now for me, the only thing the Max wouldn't power is my dryer. So my clothes dryer, which requires a 240, this one does not have a 240 plug on it. If you wanted to power something that large, you're gonna need to jump up to the new EcoFlow Pro, but you'll also need to have a separate or second battery in order for you to power up something that large. Now with that said, one of the things I wanted to test this thing on, and like I mentioned earlier, when you do have a blackout, one of the main things that goes out is your refrigerator. I wanted to see how long this would power up a full-size fridge. So one of those tests, I hooked up my fridge to it, a full-size fridge, just wanted to see kind of general how long it would take. And of course, you know, throughout the day, I would use the fridge as I normally would. You'll see it spike when the compressors turn on. You'll see it takes a lot more energy. Then it starts dipping back down to about 100 watts of usage. But overall, I was testing it for about 12 hours. It powered it up. And then based on my battery, it still said I had a couple hours left. So I was able to go pretty much 12. It'll probably last maybe 12, 14, maybe 16 hours for powering up a full-size fridge off of this Max. Now, if you're just worried about powering up devices and phones, laptops, things like that while you're in the field, absolutely more than enough that you'll need with something this big. Now, as far as weight goes, this is actually 48 pounds. The Delta is 30 pounds, but luckily enough, the way they designed it, of course, has handles right here, so you're able to lift it up, and it's still very portable, so if you wanted to bring this with you, I actually just brought it out with us camping for a couple days. And what's funny is that even though I hooked up a bunch of things to it, all those smaller types of gears and batteries don't really use up that much power. We powered everything off of these things for about a day and a half, and at the end of that day and a half, I still had a little bit over 80%, just powering up drone batteries, phones, tablets. We had night lights, hooked up everything to it. So just that pretty much a day of use, I still had 80+% on it. So those are one of the things that, you know, you just don't know how much you're going to use, but when you do have a larger pack, you just feel a lot more comfortable out there that you have enough energy to last you those few days. So if you're all looking for a larger home solution like the Max or the Pro, definitely look into their Kickstarter. They already raised over $10 million on the Kickstarter, and for the people who are backing it, the Max is actually going to be shipping out already at the end of, I believe, this month or early next month, and the Pros are set to ship also within the next month or two. So I'll definitely look at picking one of these up if you want some huge discounts before the Kickstarter ends, I believe on the 13th, so in a couple days. I'll make sure those links are gonna be down below in the video description, so if you guys are interested, make sure you guys check those out. As always, if you guys got some value from this video, a big like would be much appreciated. Also, don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell to be notified when I post new videos. This is Ultra Anastacio with FlytPath.com. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.